All right, NWF Forward fans. Last week, Canary Kid challenged me to push-ups. I didn't think much of it, and I just let it go in one ear and out the other. And I start getting some messages now the other day saying that I ducked out of the challenge and I can't do push-ups anymore. Don't ever challenge Crusher Cross into anything. I'm going to teach you guys a lesson, particularly you, Canary Kid. You want your damn push-ups? I'll give you your damn push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Should I keep going? Canary Kid, don't ever challenge Crusher Crossing. I will bury you. You understand me? If you ever underestimate me or second guess me again, I will slap your teeth into the middle of next week, because I'm the 5-time champ.
Hello, NWF fans. Before I get into the introductions, because everyone knows who I am, and I'm sure you forget who Schmucker Crossing is, just like he does sometimes as the Alzheimer's begins to kick in. But as I was going to address, I don't know if you noticed, because I sure as hell didn't, but something that just about caught my eye was Schmucker Crossing's desperate attempt to impress me by doing, and I quote, 12 push ups. Whoa. I don't know what he thought my reaction would be or what he thought the people's reaction would have been, but I can tell you what, doing 12 push ups is no like madman act. It's no Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're no special man because you did 12 push ups. So, Schmucker, I don't know what your limits are. I just know you struggle with the average human's abilities as age goes on. But what I can say is 12 push ups is nothing to brag over.
So, yeah, but I'm not the one who insinuated I couldn't do any. That was you. And so I just said, look, you don't think I can do, you're the one that didn't think I could do the push-ups. Now, as you can see, I did your push-ups. So don't ever second guess me. Don't ever underestimate me is probably the better word. I could do those push-ups with you sitting on my back, Canary Kid.
Well, I can guarantee that I could do push-ups with you on my back because what do you know? I've been carrying this show. I've been carrying this show for so long that I'm used to your weight on my back. But as I was saying, 12 push-ups, you know what? You proved me wrong. I said you couldn't do any, and you're able to do 12. So it's good to know what your limit is. And you know what? Maybe next time you can do 13.
Well,
whoa!
I'm going to skip ahead on the comments only because this matters to what we're talking about. But Sky Sports Video News says, we love it, Crusher. We know you were limited on time only. You could have gone on for hours. Absolutely. I was just getting warmed up. So, yeah, I agree. Sky Sports. I do agree.
Look, all I can say, Sky Sports, is make sure you use some sort of mouthwash because I'm pretty sure that kissing Crusher's ass that hard will make you have bad breath. So you might want to, stop kissing some ass and just view this as a neutral for once.
Well, Canary, we got a great show today. Darrell Becker's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. But before we get to Darrell, I wanted to go to a special screen here with you and I, where we can bring some things in here. I wanted to go over a few things that I thought would be some interesting things to talk about quick before we get Darrell. And one of which is our good friend, Badass Ben Nelson.
Oh,
and it deals with him. Not only, Canary, is he in my opinion, probably one of the best up-and-comers in NIPW history, but just an excellent wrestler. But not only that, he's an excellent artist. And I want to share with you some of the art that Ben has done for our viewers. Now, of course, there's this. Now, that's, of course, the Canary Kid, and very good work here by Ben, I would say. Very nice. What do you think?
I think he underestimates me. I think I have much more of an amazing physique, and I personally think he's missing one thing: my amazing, stunning, model-like, god-like face that he is quite clearly missed out. But I will give it to him. It is an alright job, and I am proud to see that he is able to draw that. And of course, he drew his hero. Yours truly.
Well, and you had posted it on your socials, and I seen it, and I thought, I want to reach out to Ben. I like some Crusher art. So I said, Ben, could you do Crusher some art too? And this is what he did for me. I love it. It's the Crusher Crossen 5-time. Now, Canary, how about this one?
I personally think that Ben Nelson is the worst artist I've ever seen. That is the drawing that a 6-year-old would draw. It's so unrealistic because, as we know, that leg cannot go like that. It looks like his wrists. I don't know what sort of position he's lying in. He looks like he's mid-ski jump. That is horrific. He's got Crusher Cross and NWF. Like, he's just copy and pasting NWF. Look, he didn't even draw it. Want to know why? Because he's a terrible artist. This is awful. Ben Nelson, you should never draw again, all right? You just call it a day on that stuff with this.
I complimented your art piece, and you cannot give me any compliment. Look, what I really like about this is the sweat coming off of Canary's face with my boot as it hits it. I just love that part of it. That's my favorite part. And this is just awesome artwork. Just a talented young man here in the ring and with the art, I gotta say.
Yeah, just personally not a fan. All around, I feel like it was missing a lot of key details, and it was a very unrealistic photo. I'm more into realistic pictures, and in a realistic picture, we would have Crusher lying there like a disgruntled pretzel, his body limbs all over the place, and me standing there with my hands held high like the champ I am.
It was just basically that was again, in case you want to see it one more time. I know I do.
I don't want to see it again.
It's just a perfect illustration of me beating up Canary Kid, and I gotta say,
can we stop?
That's how it would go, Canary. I mean,
it is not how it would go. It was horrific, and I hated every second of watching that. I personally would like to apologize for the fans, and what a shock. Ben visually polluting the NWF fans again. First, it was his awful haircut. Now it's his awful drawing. I don't know what's next with Ben Nelson. Everything he does is just hideous. God forbid he has children, because them things will look like, I don't know, like a bunch of kids out of the Addams Family. They would look weird, disgruntled, and hideous, just like everything else he creates.
Well, I thought it was good. And then, Canary, another thing I wanted to double back on is the flying super kick. We talked about this on our last Forward show, and I don't know if maybe you and I have a different idea of what that would be, but I want to kind of show you how we did the flying super kick, and then tell me what you think. Okay. Now, I did the kick, but I never did it flying, but Terry Block in our League Invader 1 was the best at this. He made it look so good, and everybody who's taken this thing from him said they never got touched. Although I put it in slow motion so we can watch it in slow motion. That's about the only way you can kind of see that he's not touching it. But man, it looks good in fast motion when it's regular speed. But let's take a look.
Let's have a look.
Dr. Destruction in. Oh,
so
big
damn.
Running style, yeah, like they're running. What I mean by is running at it, Sorry. There's another one. Now, I'll do them in slow motion so you can see it a little bit better, as good as I can make it. But man, just beautifully timed.
Just kick straight to the head. Like I love the way it just comes in from the side.
Yeah, gets them on the side, and
that reminds me a bit of course, for the 90s, the late 90s wrestling fans, early 2000s. If you ever watch Rob Van Dam, his Van Daminator, just like that, very similar to that.
So yeah, we were talking about that earlier. So that's what you think? Is that how that was?
When I mentioned it earlier, I mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme from Warriors, I think it was. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Do you know Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that's the kind of kick he would have thrown. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
But now seeing it, it's very much like Rob Van Dam's Van Dominator. Mm. No, that's sick.
Yeah, so he was good at it. Terry really. And speaking of Terry, I thought we'd watch one of his matches here, just to kind of, Canary and I are going to do a show, NWF meets NIPW, and I want to kind of, Canary knows me and he knows Slick and a few others that he's seen, Mr. X, but I want to kind of filter in every now and then a match so that he knows how to book when we do this show, and when Canary books it and I book it, and we're saving that for a show that we don't have a guest. So let's take a look at Terry here that we just seen doing that super kick in a match. This was just one of our TV tapings, so it wasn't like an armory show or anything. And that guy in the ring there is actually Jamie McParland, the Irish Terror. This is like third show ever, so he's very new here. Jamie. But Terry been in it for a while.
Looks Italian.
Yeah, the Irish Terror, Jamie McParland. He was one of those. Remember talking about naturals? He could naturally bump. Jamie could.
Why is his shirt so small?
The referees. I know, it's a good question. I don't think it's his shirt.
And how old were you guys this point?
Jamie and Terry were probably 14 here, 13 or 14.
How old's the Irish Terror?
Yeah, he's like 13. Terry might have been 14.
What about the ref?
Oh, referee Rick Pitts. He'd been in his 30s.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Was he? How did you know him?
He was a friend of one of the guys on the show and just wanted to be ref. So, because I started going to an adult refs after a while.
Yeah, because it makes more
professional.
I've heard people say that they don't like it when the referee's bigger than the wrestler. I get it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, it kind of kills the wrestlers a bit. No, it makes the wrestlers look better if he's smaller. And if it's bigger, then it makes the wrestlers look smaller. But I think if he's bigger, it also works because he can really enforce the match.
Right.
And kind of like if stuff gets out of hand, he looks like he could physically get these two out of there.
And the thing you got to remember here with Jamie, the Irish Terror, is third time ever in the ring, ever. I mean, training ever. So like very, we didn't get a lot of ring. A lot of our practicing in the beginning, especially with new guys, was matches like this. You just get put into a match, and that was a part of their training. And you get a little bit of ring time before the show starts, but not much.
And is Terry Black the one who's beating him down now?
No, Terry Black is the one in the red shorts here.
So the Irish Terror, is he wearing actual boots?
Yeah, he just got the wrestling boots. Yeah.
That's cool.
Terry looks like boots. They're actually just his socks pulled way up.
Yeah, I knew they were socks.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of you guys used to just wear socks, but that's why it's interesting that he's wearing boots. And actually like good pair of boots.
You're gonna really want to watch this guy.
But Terry Black was the kind of guy though that Invader when he's kind of a high flyer, but behind the scenes he was super easy to get along with. Like he would never ever question a finish. Like I would tell him, hey, you're in the Super D's gonna put you over. He'd be like, okay. He never argued the finish. He got my respect. He had everybody's respect. He was so well liked, and he was damn good in the ring. Like his drop kick was as good as mine. Yeah. Probably the most underrated guy we had.
I'm really getting interested in. I could just be Black making him look good. This Irish Terror guy, he looks sick.
Yeah, like we said, like you have that guy that came in. Jamie's like this too, a natural. Kind of like he could just bump.
He has a good look to him, and the fact he has the knee pads and the like a rocker dropper kind of.
Like a rocker dropper.
That's a dump move right there. Put a space first.
He keeps picking him up.
Yeah, I like that. And for his age and experience, it's good stuff to that.
Jeff, seemingly those tactics are not well appreciated here. Oh, I know. The Irish Terror is really different. The first time
Irish Terror, the reason he got that name is because of his last name, McParland.
Meek and mild, but look at him now. He is just, and a shot to the midsection.
And then, but yeah, this is like, so think of Terry, and actually Jamie for that matter, I'll probably use both these guys for you to book when we do that show. But
I'll definitely be using the Irish Terror like this stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's all you could get.
But this was in 1987, so kind of, Terry had probably been in it for about a year now. Jamie, 3 shows in.
Oh, that one had to hurt. He come down hard.
At least we got the canvas now for the ring. We don't have that tarp anymore.
But he missed that one as the Invader rolled out just in time. Fans are now chanting for the Invader.
Remember, Ricky, old school, right? So it's
Yeah.
not going to be as integral as it is for you guys. But
No, it's respectable. I like it.
Nobody can get the other one. Look up! Boom! Kabang! Right into the mat.
this match only has about less than a minute to go and it'll be done. And then we'll just shoot the breeze until Darrell gets in.
Yeah, no, I just got some ideas from watching this about matches I could do for both these guys.
He come down with a big sledge.
And you don't have to do these guys against each other, but I'm just saying these are guys
No,
you
I'm
can
not
use.
doing them against each other, but matches they could have.
Yeah.
Idea.
No,
yeah, I have 2 for them.
But nobody can really put it away.
I mean, Terry was a skinny, a little wiry,
Oh!
but yeah, German suplex.
I was no, that's not a German. That's a side suplex, belly to back. Some people call it.
Yeah. We always called those Germans when we go back over.
The German, so he had his arm over his thing. The
Yeah.
German, you need to grab both around the waist,
Oh, yeah.
but he had one arm over there.
When we did it, we always did the one arm then, so I
And
guess
he
it's
like
just
had
repeating.
one arm on the leg, and he flipped him over.
Yeah, and then we,
So that would have been a side suplex, or if he put it there and grabbed him around the waist, it would have been a side though. And
yeah.
yeah, I'm a master of suplexes. But no, that's a good match. I like both of them. I feel like Tyre Black just need a better presentation. Because
Yeah,
it would have made sense if they were both in kind of that similar gear that Tyre Black had, but the fact that the Irish Tyre looked presentable, it made Tyre Black less.
yeah.
Made him less easy to get in.
Terry Black. The thing is, he just probably couldn't afford the boots. They weren't.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And I'm just trying to, like, each show we'll try to maybe, when we don't have, if we're waiting for somebody, I'm just going to bring in a match like that of guys you haven't seen yet so that you can kind of get an idea. Because that way you don't go into it like, who is these guys? How am I going to book these guys? Now I kind of have an idea. So,
Yeah, no, now I have about 3-4 matches I could do. So
and hang on, Ricky, I'm going to let you hold the fort. I got to step away for 1 minute because I got somebody down at the door. There's a
Yep, no
package I'm
problem.
expecting. So guys, you're going to be entertained with Ricky for just a second, and I will be right
As always.
back. Sorry about this.
yeah, you should
Pressure
be.
crossing. If I can find my thing. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, Crusher Crossing has just lied directly to your face. What actually happened there was Crusher needs to go to his cars at the door. And sorry about stuttering here, but of course the old man is so senile and so simple. What has he decided to do? Leave his mic and his headphones touching so that when I'm talking, it's coming in a loop and there's an echo. I'm sure you guys can hear it. I'm seeing there's a comment in there for me. I can't take it in, so it won't be up on the screen, but I will address it right now. As far as I'm aware, I can't take it in. Let me see. Nope, I can't. All right. So what I will do is just respond to it.
All right.
Never mind. Crusher is here. Perfect.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for
Sorry about
leaving
that.
your mic
down-
and headphones
I just-
together.
I just went into the front door in record time. I don't think
Yeah.
you could have beat me.
You left your mic and headphones together, so it was like a continuous echo.
I
What
just
happened?
rushed down to the door. I didn't even think of the headset.
But I was just about to answer a comment, but now you can actually bring it in. There's Damien's asked me a question, and I haven't actually.
Okay, so let's
Got the
get that.
chance
By
to
the way, I
read.
just want to, just so I don't, Damien and Gizmo, we see your Happy New Year messages and stuff. I just don't want to let I've seen it. And
Maybe get sports videos one in as well.
oh,
real quick.
Nicholas Fowler. I haven't seen Nicholas for a while. It's good to see you in here again, Nicholas. Hope you're
Yep,
enjoying the
that's
show
the-
so far.
12th time he said hello, Crusher. Now.
Yeah. And okay, so
mean,
yeah,
okay.
so this Pipsqueak's talking, and I'm just talking over him. That's what I have to do. I always love Forward because twice a month I get to verbally beat up Canary Kid, and
Because you couldn't
It's-
physically do it.
it's fun. I gotta say.
Yeah.
So let's see what Damien had to say for you. Ricky, how long would you practice with an opponent prior to your televised match to help perfect your moves? Or was there ever a time you did? I know we don't always do it like that, but was there ever a time that was the case when you started?
Well, as Crusher said there, most of the time, and I'll brag about this, and I think most people will agree with me. So I'm a big believer in 90% of the time, don't talk about the match until you see the guy on the day. I hate seeing people, and I used to fall in their trap when I first started. I hate seeing people in like training during the week, like a month before their match, being like, "I had this idea." You're like, "Shut up and leave it until the day, kid." But so yeah, usually, and I can brag because I ask anyone. I think I'm the quickest match planner. Every time people are planning their match, I'm always the one done sitting on my phone because I had my match planned. Because I don't know how. Might be the fact that I'm so far on the spectrum, I can't see the other end of the tunnel. But I can think of a match real quick. But there was one time, it was my debut match with John McCann. Every time I don't know if I told a story on here before, but every time we would do a training match like on the build up to my debut. It was so bad. It's insane. Me and John had to work for that chemistry. We used to be awful in the ring together because John was experienced, but John will tell you himself, he had the memory of Crusher nowadays. He makes Crusher look like Einstein. Like John had no memory at all. He could not retain information. He could not retain a spot. I didn't have the confidence to call in the ring because I'd be doing this stuff, 3 months at the time when me and John started getting the training matches in. So it was a disaster. Every match was a disaster. I have a picture on my phone. Well, this is after my debut, but I have a picture on my phone of me and John's training match. And afterwards, my lip went out like this, like in a
You told me
purple
about that.
bubble
So you got
from
kicked
John
in the
hitting the
face or
senton
something?
and elbowing me in the face. Yeah. As we were talking about elbows earlier. But yeah, elbow straight to the mouth, purple lip. So me and John, disaster. So Nathan was talking about, maybe not doing me and John, maybe not putting me on the show, maybe putting me and Diddy Crooks in, maybe putting me and him in. But then it was just too late. He'd already announced the match, so he just stuck with it. And I told him, I don't know if I ever told John this, but I should have went to Nathan. I was like, because John always tells me Nathan instigated this match so much. Nathan's the number one instigator in like backstage heat. And he kept telling me that John didn't want to do the match. He's like, yeah, John's coming to me. It doesn't seem like he doesn't care about this match. He said it doesn't mean anything to him and stuff. When John said to me recently about it, he was like, bro, Nathan kept telling me that I didn't care about the match, but all I was trying to tell him was, I don't mind what happens. I'm just going to do my best. I'm not worried.
Yeah.
He kept flipping it that I don't care, and I was like, makes sense. But because of that, I went to Nathan, what if this match goes bad? Like, it's my debut, and Nathan kept telling me if I messed up, might be away before I get on a show again. So I have so much pressure on me. It's like, you know what, I'll do you a solid. I'll plan your match. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, we'll go for it for the 2 weeks on the build up to the match. So every couple of training sessions, we would go for the match, me and John, until we start really getting it. Nathan basically planned the whole thing, start to finish, and we went out there.
By the way, guys, just so if you're wondering, Darrell's coming on, but he wasn't going to be able to get on until about the bottom of the hour here, so we should see him here shortly. Ricky and I are just entertaining you until then. So Darrell Becker, Primos Premier Pro Wrestling, he's coming. Just wanted to let everybody know so that they realize what's going on here.
Cut me off again. I'll cut off your waist. But anyway, as I was saying,
wait a minute before you say. Let me just say this, because this is going to go away so fast. It's going to make this kid's head spin. I think Crusher went to use the bathroom. It gets harder to hold. Yeah. Goodbye. We can just get rid of that comment.
Well, you see what this is? This is censorship media. Censorship. He's censoring the people. I hear the people, and I hear that people don't like Crusher Crossen, and they love the Canary Kid, and he can't handle that because I took over this channel.
You know what's going to get censored? What's going to get censored is when I drop kick you right in the face and give you another lip that's going to get turned purple. And then we'll see what the censorship has to say then.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Anyway, Nicholas, as you were saying, hello back, because I know it took you a couple of times to get Crusher's attention, because he doesn't care, but I care. Nicholas,
yes, I see. Nicholas,
hello to you too.
He's saying hello.
It's an honor for you to meet me. But as I was saying, yes, me and John, disaster. But we went out there. Nathan was the ref, and thankfully we had a solid enough match. Nathan loved the match. A couple of people cried because it was an emotional moment, and they witnessed glory at its finest.
Just so everybody understands, typically you don't practice matches so much. I mean, as little younger, like the junior grapplers and stuff, when they get started, yes, it's understandable to do that. But when you are in the business and stuff, even on the NWF, we didn't do practice matches. We just if I was going against somebody, I'd say, okay, yeah, this is how it's going to go. We would just talk about the finish,
Yeah.
and then we talk about maybe there's going to be a spot where I'm going to do this, or there's going to be a spot where I'm going to do that, and that'd be about it. That would be the most of the discussion. I'm sure it's the same for you guys.
Yeah, it's the whole like basically I'll see you out there. Like for us, the way I plan my match is, if it's a new guy, I'll plan a lot more because I know it can be overwhelming for them on their like first or second match. The guy's like, yeah, here's my finish and I'll see you out there. Like, that's terrifying. So I usually like to plan when it comes to a new guy, plan most of the match. But when it comes to someone with a bit more experience that I'm more comfortable with, like John, I'll just tell him, yeah, we'll wrestle around at the start. Cut me off, beat me up a bit, come back, my comeback finish.
Right, because sometimes you get stuck. Sometimes you get stuck going against somebody and you don't have time. But you know what? We got our guest in here, Darrell. It looks like he showed up. We got to get Darrell in here, and I know everybody's been waiting for him. So let's switch to the other screen here, and we'll get in here with Darrell Becker. Welcome in, Darrell.
Thanks for having me again. How's it going, you guys?
Hey, it's great.
Doing great.
It was a great show last time, and I was saying to Ricky, we got to double back on some of these guys I had on before Ricky joined me as a co-host, the Canary Kid, and bring these guys back in again. And so I thought of you, Darrell. I thought, let's bring you back in and see what's happening. When we last talked, you had been saying that, maybe you're thinking about trying to do some kid junior matches or preliminary matches of some kind on shows. Did anything ever happen yet, or are you still working on that?
Nothing has happened come of that so far. We actually have a new crop of kids now. Some of the kids that were coming, it looks like they may have moved on some other things, which happens from time to time.
Sure.
You guys know this business is a revolving door. But yeah, we got some new kids in, some really fresh faces. They're having a lot of fun. Some really talented kids.
Yeah, we're going to see some of that of the footage you get provided, and we're going to be watching some of that. One of the things that Darrell does when he's training with these kids that I like, and I think I pointed this out to you last time, you talk them through a training match. So when you're having a training match with them, you actually talk them through it. Like, okay, you do this. Now start waving at the crowd. Where you actually coach them as you're wrestling. I like that. That's a good thing, to do that. I've never seen that before, that kind of style of coaching them as you're wrestling. But I think it's a good way to do it with kids.
I feel as though, too, it's just if you throw too much, it can be overwhelming. But if you kind of space things out, it can be kind of soft, kind of slow, and then you can lose their interest. So I'm trying to keep them engaged as much as possible while keeping it still fun and educational. That way they're getting the most out of it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, you have anything right off the gate?
On something that you said there about the revolving door, I think for me it hurts because obviously we do our kids program as well. It hurts so much more when it's the kids that leave, because we've had kids who'll be there for like from the start, and they're so talented and have so much potential, and then they'll just leave, and you'll be like, you had it, and they'll just leave. Like, I think when it's the adults, I'm like, alright, he left. Like, most of the time when it's an adult, you're like, wasn't his thing, like, who's surprised? But when it's the kids, I don't think they realize how good they're doing. Even when you tell them, they don't realize it, because when you're a kid, everyone's telling you, good job, buddy. But when you're trying to actually tell this kid, like, you're doing pretty damn good, it takes them so long to realize it. I think that's why they don't realize, and they just go, I'm bored, I'm going to go play something else. And you're like, damn it. So,
well,
I feel your pain.
Both of you guys, Ricky and Canary, Ricky's a junior trainer as well, so he trains the juniors. He's one of the guys that help.
That's awesome.
Because he never went through the juniors because they didn't have it then. So Ricky got stuck right in with the adult training when he started 3 years ago. But now he helps train the juniors, Yeah. But both of you guys are in the same boat here, where that you haven't really had your kids having matches yet, both your shows, both your organizations. I've talked to other guys, though, that have done this, like Mitch the Kid. When they do their junior trainers, they have what they call friends and family shows, just smaller shows in the training facility even, and then they just let kind of friends and family half price kind of admission thing, and get them the experience of having a match and stuff. I think that's important though, because kids, think of it like, Darrell, you can relate. Like, think if you're going to baseball practice or hockey practice or football practice, soccer practice. I say that because when I say football, he's thinking soccer over here. But think about having to just practice all the time, but never get a match or never get a game, right? You got to have a little bit of something to look forward to, even if it's not quite up to speed. You got to start somewhere, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's our biggest issue, and you're just right. And I've noticed it for a while, and I know, like, because my nephew trained with us for about a year and a half, 2 years, and he'll come here and there now. But it's not. This isn't me being biased. He was one of the best people we had. He just took to it really quick, and he used to come here and there at the start, but he would still come in and be caught up instantly after having like 2 sessions. But now he doesn't really show up because he got into soccer.
Yeah.
And he got into it, I can tell, because of a lack of matches. Like, he didn't have anything to get excited for. Like, we did have one match, and it was like we did like Team John versus Team Canary. We had our teams, and we did a match, and it was a fun little match. The kids had fun. The crowd loved it. But I know right now, don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I doubt it's a big deal, but we're doing a training, like, we're training right now for these past couple of weeks for 2 of the kids from our kids program. They actually have a match, I'm pretty sure, on the show. We've been going over it, and it's similar to what you said, Crusher, when we spoke about it before. It was just go through the match over and over again until they remember it, and they'll just do it. So that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, but it's so funny because I'll show up, because Nathan doesn't actually tell me he's training them. It's just be one of the days I'll walk in and they'll be there training. I'll be like, oh. But I'll walk in and I'll be expecting, like, the kids to be doing, simple holds, maybe like the odd little clothesline, the odd little strike. Nathan has them in there doing suplexes, body slams. Like, last week he had one of them do the Randy Orton power slam on the other kid, and I'm like, Jesus, Nathan. He goes, has to be good. Like, I'm like, all right, go for it. Like, he has these kids working hard, and like, he's putting in work in this match. Like, he's looking to have this match steal the show, I think.
But here's the thing, though, Canary, and you know this. Every kid's at a different spot and different level as far as if they're ready to do that kind of thing. And you have to work with whatever level they're at. Some kids may not be ready for suplexes. Others might. So you just have to work with wherever they're at their level of training,
Yeah, 100%. Like, we'll have this kid, Eli, who's been training with us. And I think he used to do rugby, or he still does rugby. The kid's a unit. He's just huge. Like, he's got strength to him. So I feel bad for this other kid, Caden, who's in there doing it with him, because he's a smaller kid, he's more agile, and Nathan has him obviously trying to do more of the high flying stuff. But a lot of it, because Eli's bigger, he's obviously going to get in more, and it's just this kid getting bumped around, like getting slammed, suplex.
But you know what, Canary, this. That's part of it. They gotta be able to take.
Oh yeah,
that.
I can 100% know how he feels sitting at 5'9", 145. I know exactly how he feels about getting bumped around.
Yeah, you're a small guy like I was. Here's a question for Darrell. And I should have said this. My fault. So Sports Talk, one of our regulars, says, I am sorry, but I don't know. Darrell, where is Primos Premier Pro Wrestling, and what ages do you work with?
Well, we are actually based out of Westminster, Colorado. It's north of Denver. It's about 20-25 minutes north of Denver. And right now, the kids that I have in class, they range anywhere between, I believe, 8, 10 years old, all the way up until 16. And with that,
and you also have some of the kids autistic as well that you bring in.
There was a young man that was coming in that had some intellectual disabilities. Yes, I believe he actually participated in the Special Olympics and gained 3 gold medals in 3 different events, which was pretty fantastic. It was great working with the kid. Unfortunately, since then, he's moved on to other sports.
Sure.
I think he's getting ready for the Special Olympics again, so that, with him being a former Olympian, that's probably going to take a lot of his time.
And one of your kids that you had a while back, we have coming up on another interview next month, CJ Quinn.
Yes.
And you're all familiar with him, Malibu Bobby.
Yep.
So, I mean, he was, CJ was like, I'm kind of interested to see what Malibu is going to say about me here. So, I had to bring CJ up to see what you're going to say about CJ Quinn.
Well, you know what? Everything aside, I love working with the kid. He's a great kid. Just like any kid, sometimes it takes a little longer for things to soak in. But I remember he posted something about training. He's like, "Watch out, Darrell Becker, I'm coming for you." And then pretty much a year to the day, I actually helped him debut his first singles match, which was fantastic. I love doing that with him.
We'll need to see if we can get a copy of that for when we have him on, because I need to get some footage of him. So, to show. So hopefully that's on video somewhere. I think I seen something.
Believe I have it on my YouTube page.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I seen one on your page, so maybe I can grab it from there.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so that way we can show everybody that. That's CJ will be coming up on Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Okay, fantastic. It's right around the time of our next show. Our next Primo show is February 16th, live at the Roxy here in downtown Denver.
Yeah, so I was I used to do this thing called Around the Mat, and I was always pointing out your Roxy dates, on past shows, for anybody that was interested. I try to, everybody that I have come on, I try to at least follow what they're doing and try to show, on our shows. But so like, now is it just you training, or do you have helpers training with you, or for the juniors it is?
For the most part, it is me working with the junior class. We do have some special guests that come in from time to time and kind of show some specialized things, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And do you guys do like, I'm just asking because I can't remember how, I think I might have asked this the first time, but do you do like warm-ups, cardio, different conditioning and stuff before? Like, is that all part of it?
Yes, definitely. We do have a little bit of a curriculum going on. We do have them come in a little bit early, do some warm-ups, stretch a little bit, kind of run around, get some of the energy out while also getting the energy up and the blood flowing. We'll run the ropes. We're going to start really, really working on the basics and the foundation while getting some of those moves in. But yeah, we have like a full-on class. It's fantastic. I love the way that it's developed over the past year.
Sure. And Damian, just to clarify, it wasn't Darrell on this. When I mentioned family matches for the younger wrestlers, that was referring to Full Tilt Wrestling, Mitch the Kid's organization. They do that. So that really doesn't apply here. But now, like, for instance, CJ Quinn, did he go into the regular adult training then and then became part of the show? And
he has, yeah. He's a part of the adult class now. He's had a couple matches now. He just was in a rookie rumble at our last show back on the 12th.
Yeah, I seen that's the promo I seen of him. He did a really good promo. It was on Instagram. That's what caught my eye. That's why I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I got Darrell coming on, but I think you might make a good interview." And he was all for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. He's come a long way since he's been training. But yeah, he's helped in both the kids class, train there. He's in the adult classes on the regular. He's doing really well. He's coming up.
So now I'm going to ask Malibu Bobby, what do you think of CJ Quinn?
Well, just a punk kid. He was trying to take Malibu Bobby's spotlight. That's all he was trying to do. And I put him in his place, right in front of his grandma, man. And that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that in his promo, actually, didn't he?
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Malibu Bobby enjoyed that very, very much.
Well, I've been kind of hogging it from Canary. I got to let Canary get in here, so he's going to start chirping at me here. So
yeah, you say me chirping, you haven't shut your damn mouth since Darrell got in here. So let the real star take the wheel here. But yeah, Darrell, you said you mentioned you have ages about 18 to about 16. Do you split the age groups, or would you have like the 8-year-olds in there with the 16-year-olds?
I like actually having them all work together because just like us adults, we have to learn to work with different shapes, sizes all the time. It's just part of the craft. It's part of the game. So we actually started that pretty recently. I was like, hey, you know what? It seems to be it's just me and you or you and me. Why don't you guys start working with each other now?
Sure.
Yeah. But we actually have them all in together. Now, if they are a little bit more advanced, I will have them with the ones that aren't as advanced to kind of help them while I'm working with the kids in between.
And I'm going to pull us into the watch long, Darrell. We're going to watch that stuff you provided for me, so
Oh,
we can see
nice.
some of this. We can see some of this, so we can still keep talking while it's going. But this is one of their training sessions here, and that's Darrell in the ring with one of the young guys. You got some. He's a young man there, but you also I see you have some females in there. So you're doing girls and boys, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah. And this looks like these people are like brand new, right?
So that young man right
new.
there, Billy, he's been coming for a good almost 3 months now.
Oh, 3 months. Okay.
The other young man over there, his name is Lyric. He's been coming for, I think, about a month going on around that.
And that's is that once a week,
ladies
Darrell?
over there, they come in once in a while.
And that's once a week, Darrell?
Yeah, every Sunday from 10 to 12.
Sundays. Okay.
Yeah.
Just going over
walk-ups and go to church on Sunday. A lot of people go to brunch. We do our Saturdays with some good old-fashioned wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling church.
That's right.
But no, we used to have a girl train with us a while ago. Her name was Meadow. Her and Keaton got on really well, by the way. But yeah, she trained with us from the start. And she was such a nice girl and unbelievably talented. And it's a thing about because we don't actually have in our entire place any female trainees left. Like they'll all come in, they'll do a session here and there, and they'll leave. I don't know why, but Ireland's very scarce for female talent in general. But yeah, this girl.
But when you have the girl come in, does she have another girl to work with, or is it just her by herself?
No, when Meadow came in, she was the only girl, but I don't think she cared. She was there for so long, and she was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Not even, but she was just perfectly fine working with the guys because she could do it just as good, and she didn't really. We never really had to think about that. Like she could work perfectly fine, and it seems like every girl I've ever seen come in, they're always so much more agile than the guys, and that's what I appreciate. Like I'll never see a girl come in, I'm like, she was awful, like she didn't have it. Like almost all of them have a little bit of something there, and you're like, that you had potential. Like Meadow was there for so long.
It's funny though that you mentioned with girls, though, both of you, because like we never had. The only time we had girls in our show in the 4 or 5 years of NWF was an announcer once and a valet, but we never had any wrestlers that were girls ever.
Well, back in your time, women's wrestling wasn't as popular though.
Yeah, it was more of a novelty back then. You're right.
Like you had like a couple.
It's like the midgets. They come once a year.
That's the great thing about Primos is we have a pretty stacked women's division here as well.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty stacked women's division here in Colorado in general. So,
well, it's different today. Like women's wrestling has really taken off a lot more than it had, say, 30 or 40 years ago. And like you said, Ricky, in Ireland, it's just harder. It's not as many.
Yeah, no, it's not as popular, and because of just how Ireland is, like, it's common to have there's a couple women's wrestlers like a hand. I could probably count them on one hand, like in the south, and then a lot of the ones up here, like in the north, they're not as good. Like, no harm to them. A lot of them are like going into it at like 40, and you're like.
Now, how big is this ring? I'm curious.
Believe this one is either 14 or 16 feet.
Okay.
It looks about 16 to be fair.
It has a really good bounce to it. Is that like the flexi steel all the way across, no spring, or is there a spring in there?
There's no spring.
No spring. Yeah. I see you got the big crash mat pad out there. That's almost, you really need that with the kids, don't you?
Oh, we break that out every single class.
Yeah, it's a confidence booster.
Yep, we'll have our fundamentals class, everything like that. We'll have some discussion. We'll kind of go over things, and then pretty much the last 20 minutes, we'll kind of do some free time where they'll pull out the crash pad and they like to do moves. And a lot of those kids have no fear, man. Let me tell you, they're up on the top rope wanting to do moonsaults and corkscrews. It's My heart skips a beat every single time those kids want to go up to the top rope and just throw themselves on the crash pad.
Yeah, top rope though is the fun. That's as a kid, that's the fun part.
Oh yeah,
I always loved the top rope.
Yeah, it's a
Most of my classes I end with the young man we see there working with me there. His name is Billy. I usually give him a razor's edge at the end of every class. So right on the crash pad.
And then
it's
Gizmo had a question here. I'll get this in quick and then I'll let you go, Ricky. Darrell, do your athletes, referring to the kids, come to you from other sports, or do they come with all different ages and abilities?
I would say all the above. Some of these kids have studied other sports. They've been in martial arts. They've been wrestling fans their entire life. They've wanted to come just play wrestling. But yeah, they all have different abilities. They're all at different stages. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when it comes to the kids when we train them, we have a new limit. Like we implemented a rule, and it's not even on the kids. It's us ourselves are horrified when because we always do this thing. Well, we'll do it most of the time where we'll let the kids in the ring for the last like 10 minutes, and we have like a crash dummy, and we'll say, have a little match with the crash dummy. But we had to implement a rule in the past couple of months where it's a second rope limit. We're like, you can go up to the middle, please stay off the top because there's no crash mat. We're like, for your own good, because there's kids who go up to the top and be like, let me try a swanton. You're like, no,
Please don't.
no. Yeah, like our insurance doesn't cover the swanton. Our insurance covers nothing above the second rope at this point. So we're like, you can do second rope because you should be all right there. But we had a session one time where we got the crash mat out, and for a joke, we got each kid got to do one top rope move onto their parent. So we got their parents out on the crash mats and would sit like that, and the kid would just choose a move to do. But of course, most kids do a splash, and then you have like the one kid who wants to show off and busts out the swanton or the elbow drop and breaks a couple of the parents' ribs. Like, it's just nuts, the stuff that we're doing. You're like, yeah, these poor parents, like, it's just brutal. Like, they just come to us, get their kids out of the house. Next thing you know, they're in the ring getting bumped around. You're just like, oh god. But no, yeah, the top rope's always a disaster for us.
And Darrell, just so you're a little familiar with Canary, he started when he had just turned 14. He went into the adult training over there in NIPW in Northern Ireland, and has been wrestling since then. And you're now just turned 17 last December, so that's where he's at. Was it October?
Fantastic.
Yep.
Oh, I was thinking December. I don't know why.
October I turned 14. 27th of October turned 14. And then on the 29th of November, I started wrestling. I had my first training, which was actually a seminar. It wasn't actually with my coach. I did a seminar at the place, and he said I could do it. And then I said to him, I was like, can I start? And he was like, yeah, sure, it's this much. I was like, okay. And to this day, he always says to me that he really didn't want to bring me in, but it was so little trainees at the time. He just needed the money. So he's like, yeah, I'll take him in.
And and Ricky lied through his teeth. Yeah, he's all about British wrestling. I love British wrestling. Trying to work his way in,
The thing he posted for the seminar, cause it was like an old British wrestler, and he was like, learn the old school British wrestling. So that's what it said in the poster. So I lied so hard. I was like, oh, I love old school British wrestling. I didn't know any old school British wrestlers. William Regal didn't count technically, so I didn't know any. I was like, yeah, I love old school British wrestlers. Meanwhile, I'd go home and watch like a Kenny Omega match or something like that.
But ironically enough, you've become a fan of it, like with Marty.
Oh, I love it, yeah. Because of Nathan. Nathan got me into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that stuff. These kids are hitting these ropes pretty damn good. Oh, and he's exhausted. And the kid has the wrestler hair, I must say.
Yeah, he does. In fact, his thing is quite a flamboyant. He'll have a flamboyant look for himself when he gets going with this.
He takes that ponytail out, like that hair will go flying, and I love when we have guys going with long hair, because like I'm jealous that I don't have the personal capabilities to ever want to do long hair, because I personally would hate it. But see the guys who come in with long hair and they get punched, I always go, swing the hair please, and they always get it, and I'm like, oh, it looks so good. I'm like, when you have long hair, wrestling's built for you, because the hair goes flying on every spot, and it's just perfect for the picture.
It's just real quick with ladies wrestling. When the 80s, like I said, it was a novelty. It was like the midgets. You got them once a year. And I remember this one lady, I forget her name, had a ponytail, big long ponytail. And in the match, one of her things is she would get they would take the ponytail and they'd keep flipping her over with by the ponytail. And I was thinking to myself, and I was only 12 years old watching this, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna pull the hair right out of her head. And yeah, she'd actually be doing like a snap mare, but only with the ponytail.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's good to be innovative. Like that's what I think's missing in wrestling. Not enough innovators anymore. Everyone just does stuff they've already seen, and like, yeah, it's cool you add your own twist onto it, but make some new shit.
See,
Like,
that's exactly how I hit the ropes with my back. I don't go into the side. I do the back hit like that.
That's same. That's how we were taught. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that young man was a little bit more advanced. He's one of our older kids. So we're going to kind of work with him a little bit more and probably bump him up to the adult classes here soon.
Yeah. And then I noticed these ropes look like the cable ropes to me. The cable, is it the tubing with the cable inside?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yep.
yeah, they're in my opinion, I love doing anything springboard off those ropes. I always feel like they're a lot better than the actual ropes because we have like rope, and you know, yeah, I can work with it, but just the cable gives you a lot more of a spring to it. I prefer them a lot more.
And the thing with the rope is they can stretch after a while, and so your ropes can loosen up on you, you know?
Oh yeah, we had a period about 2 years ago where our ropes were so bad. You'd walk in like it was like an 80s like territory show with all the ropes like just spaghetti down, and it looked like a really bad boxing show. And
So here-
it was awful.
So here's an interesting question from Sky Sports Video News. He says, Ricky, it's funny you brought up the insurance coverage. I don't know if Crusher had insurance back in the day. Darrell, does your insurance put many restrictions on what wrestlers can do? You're right. For us back in the day, insurance was a killer. Luckily, the Armory didn't ask for insurance, and Fred Moore and some of the schools didn't. But if insurance came up, that was an end of discussion. I couldn't afford to have insurance policies. Darrell, I don't know about you guys. Do you have any issues with insurance?
Not that I'm aware of. That's actually above my pay grade.
Yeah.
That's more for the owners and operators. But yeah, when it comes to restrictions, when it comes to the kids, we really don't have them bump. I mean, the bump card is a real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys haven't fully developed yet, so we're just kind of mainly working on fundamentals. If they want to bump around and be silly and kind of fly around, the crash pad has to come out. And, you know, we have to talk to the parents first to see if it's okay with them. You know, so it's safety's number one. You know, even if the kids are like, yeah, I'm cool to do it. Like, Mom, Dad, you cool with it? And they say, no, sorry, nope.
Yeah.
I mean, we did let them do a bump on the mat once with the parents' permission, just so they could see what it was like. And afterwards, most of them were like, "Oh my god!"
I know it is so different in a ring versus, say, on a living room floor. I mean, you can feel the difference, right? Yeah.
It's what you mentioned there about like saying to the parents, like, see, anytime, me personally, and this is for any parent out there, if you ever take your kid to a wrestling show and I'm there, please keep this in mind. If I ever turn to a kid and they ask me to do something, and I say, oh, you have to ask your mom, you have to ask your dad, that's me telling you to tell them no because I don't want to be the bad guy. There was this show one time we did, and this girl came over to me. She was about, I'd say about 10, comes over to me. Hi, I was like, hi, talking to her. I was like, I'm meeting her, and I was saying her like poster, and she's like, can you sign my forehead? And I'm like, your forehead? And she's like, yeah, sign my forehead. And I go, oh, I can't do that now, you know. And my coach, like the owner, like the promoter's right beside me because he was wrestling on that show, and he looked at me, and I go, like, I mouthed to him forehead, and he goes. And I go, okay. And I go, I don't know if I can do that. You know, you have to ask your mum about that. And I kind of give the mum the eyes of, tell your child no. And he goes over, she goes, Mum, can he sign my forehead? And she goes, sure. And I go, oh, gee, no, that doesn't look good. I'm like, well, now what do? I said, like, it's up to your mum. The mum said yes, and I have to be even worse. It makes it even worse for me saying no. So I just look at her and I'm like, I can't. I go, I'm like, this is my choice, you know. Boss doesn't let me, and she goes, no, I won't tell anyone. I go, it's not, no. no. It's like, I was like, I can't do that. And she goes, can you sign my arm? And I go, you know what? Sure. I haven't been told no on arms. I'll just say it. And I was like, yep, there you go. Oh, 10 little scribble on her arm. There
Yeah,
you
because
go.
a
I was like,
sharpie on the forehead is going to take a lot of work to get off.
exactly. What parent? Like, when I grew up, my mum got angry at me for coming in with like a bit of dirt on my shoes. Never mind Sharpie permanent marker, because that's what we wrote with. It said on in big writing permanent marker on your child's
I mean,
forehead.
back in my college days, when somebody drank too much and they woke up in the morning, they might have stuff written on their forehead, but it wasn't by their choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no,
that's
we
just
didn't do
being a
signatures
college
on
kid.
forehead. We did parts of the human anatomy on people's foreheads if we were doing anything like that. But like when I'm at a show, like I don't want to leave kids walking out like Al Snow in the 90s. Like no,
right?
Like I honestly I don't get it. I really don't. And if you're gonna get anything in your forehead, get like John Cena. Don't get some at the time 16-year-old kid from 20 minutes away to sign your forehead. Like
Darrell, I'm curious, how old is this young kid here? He's pretty tall.
I believe he's 15, if I remember right. He's 15.
Okay. Yeah, he's got the height. I mean, he's almost as tall as you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple kids there that are pretty tall. They're both 15, 16, the taller kids.
I see some of the people are in their socks. Do you recommend them to be in socks or at least shoes or anything?
A lot of them don't have proper footwear yet. The parents are working on them. So it's better than just coming in with their regular shoes off the street or bare feet.
Oh, we always wrestled in our socks in the beginning just because, in the 80s, the tube socks looked like wrestling boots.
Right.
So that was the look, but that's why we did it. But I know some kids actually went barefoot. They like to do the whole Jimmy Snuka barefoot thing. I don't know why, because you know how it is. Your ankles start getting slammed around on and stuff. I like having the boot on.
Yep.
Versus nothing.
I love my boots.
When there's people with like I like you see like Jimmy Snuka, like wrestling. I don't get how he did it barefoot.
Yeah.
Surely there must have been plenty of times where someone stood on his foot in the match, like just accidentally. Like
got stepped on.
Surely that had happened. Like he worked someone who wasn't really great to put on a headlock, step in a bit too much, bang, stood on the foot. Like in big boots as well. That would have been brutal. I don't get it. I really don't. That's difficult when you give it to them. But yeah, for us, when it comes to our training, Ricky,
I just thought of a question though, Ricky, before I forget. Remember how we were talking about how you guys try to work off on one side with headlocks and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you guys have that, Darrell? Is it like if you have a headlock, does it have to be on the what is it, Ricky? Typically the left arm.
So one thing I saw Darrell do there was he was doing like a slower version of like a tiger spin, and I noticed he had it on the right side for a second. I was like, oh, that's different, but he transitioned into a hammerlock from it, so it made sense. But we usually do it left side, the headlock, to be fair.
So yeah, some of this might be backwards too, just due to the video. But yeah, I will switch sometimes. But here, American is on the left and then Lucha's on the right, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, we never had that. Wasn't even a factor. Like Eddie Sharkey never even talked about left or right like that. There was a thing though of taking moves off the right. Usually, like if you clothesline with your right hand.
Yeah.
And you would take it that way. It never would do it with the left hand. So it's like there were things like that. Same with elbow drops. But
we had a guy come in recently who's been taking the odd class here and there, and he's like pretty experienced. He's called Corvin, and he came in and he's so different to like he's completely new like way of teaching. Like and we're the same. We've always been taught right arm clothesline. Like if you're hitting something like a clothesline or a back elbow, it's always right.
Yeah.
He hits his with the left.
Really?
And because he says in his eyes, unless you're left-handed, you should hit with the left, because if it's a clothesline and you hit with the left, it makes sense that it's not over, so that when you hit the lariat and you hit it with the right, because you're right-handed, it's meant to be a stronger arm. Like he has that logic. So when he comes in, he tries to really get us to do things with left, but then when it's Nathan's session, he's getting to do this with the right, and I kind of like it because it makes me just as good on both sides, in my opinion. But damn, because it's so new, it's so difficult to take in, like throwing stuff on the left side. Like I'll like stutter before every move.
I would be awkward. I'd be awkward. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right trying to clothesline on the left.
It's weird. And like I've wrestled guys before from like the guy who wrestled from Japan, I'm pretty sure he did it, and then I wrestled this guy from England who did it. They picked me up on a body slam like a different way than you're supposed to, and I was like put off by it. Like it really catches you off guard when someone throws the other side.
Well,
But
have you ever been hack and sack slammed, like a potato sack slam, where they kind of get you over the shoulder and then just slam you? You ever
yeah,
had
body
that?
slam?
Well, no, not with the arms. They like hack it. It's like they're kind of carrying you over their shoulder and they go into a slam with it.
Power slam?
Yeah. No,
Oh, yeah,
it's
here
just
we
a,
go.
oh yeah, you got the crash mat pad out.
Oh my days.
So now this is an actual training match that I was talking about, and if you notice, Darrell will kind of coach him through it. So he's telling him to walk around. See? So I like that. I like that. So you like you're doing the match, but at the same time you're giving him little ad lib coaching tips as you go, right?
I mean, communication in this business and in this sport is important. You know, that's one of the major things that I've learned with or from my trainers. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk to the person you're in the ring with.
Yeah. It's funny. We were watching a match with me and Eddie Sharkey's league, and this guy up here gives me a hard time all the time, or down here. Goes, he noticed one of our communication spots. And he's like, "Little communicating there." He had to just rub it right in. Yeah. Sometimes you get caught.
When we worked with recently in Portugal, seminar with, I'm pretty sure you should know him, Marty Skrull. He did a seminar in Portugal and I was over there. And he's a big believer in, his phrase was like, know before you run. He was like, if you're going to do some sort of running spot, make sure that person knows and don't make it obvious. He said he hates it when he gets a guy like grabbing the arm just by the whip and he goes, close in, back up, like sit there talking, because he says like, oh, you can tell you're talking, so make it like unique, grab them by the head, hit them a punch, be like, right, so you're gonna hit me a clothesline, boom, then it's back elbow, boom, yeah, hit me with a slam, forearm, you know what you're doing, call it back to me, all right, let's go, and then he'll send them off. He's a big believer in making the talk seem fluid into the match. So me personally, I'm a victim to it too. I did a lot myself. I'm just better at it than you are, Crusher. But there's like I get it. I hate it when I see someone like just about to whip something. They're like up and over, arm drag, body slam, and you're like, yeah,
Whatever.
you're
Tell him what you're gonna do. Yeah.
It's quite clear some sort of talking going on there.
Yeah.
He's
Everybody has one point has been caught doing that though. Like I don't think anybody can say I've never been caught not talking, right? I think it's always happened.
I mean, I look back at my matches and I don't notice it. So speak for yourself on that one.
But then again, coming from the Canary Kid, what can you say? Darrell, you got to help me with this kid this kid down here, because he's afraid to get in the ring with Crusher after what, 30, 40 years, and he's afraid to get in the ring with me. Darrell,
let me put it like this.
Have you ever run into that? You ever run into guys afraid? Is CJ ever afraid to get in with you?
CJ was talking way too much smack, and look what happened to him. Like, he wanted to get in the ring. He was begging for it.
I know. That's the fire I'm looking for with this guy.
Think about it like this, right? So there's a quite clear age gap between Darrell and you, Crusher. Darrell, think about it like this. Would it look good on like the news when they hear 17-year-old Irish lad brutally attacks and dismantles old man? Like, that looks awful, especially considering Crusher can barely walk these days. So we'll put that as disadvantaged old man. That looks awful. I'll go to prison.
See what I got to put up with here, Darrell? See what I got to put up with here?
You have to think about where
it sounds like he may be speaking a little bit of truth there. I don't know.
Darrell, Malibu.
It's from time to time where the old dogs need to be put out to pasture, and the new boys, well, they need to be made way for.
I've already made it very clear, Darrell, that I will give Crusher his match, but it'll be like Old Yeller, if you've ever watched that. It'll be to put him down. All right, when I think he's like one of those old dogs who's like his eyesight's going. They're all like, oh, he's fine, but really he's like crawling and he doesn't look like he's even eating right. And he doesn't even know where he is. He's walking in the walls and stuff. That's when I'll have the match, just to put him out of his misery.
Yeah, see, he'll take the match when he knows he can win. You know, Canary, we say it every week. He does all this tough talk, but if I ever come out there to meet him in person, he would be a nice, well-spoken young man because he knows he'll get his tail kicked.
Well, it's because I was taught to respect my elders, but I'm a big believer in respect isn't earned; it's always there. But respect is very easily lost.
So,
And Crusher, you've done nothing but lose respect for me from day one. So
yes. He was
How
well
about you quit
respected
talking
on the
and
very
we
first
appreciate
show. Canary was a nice, good
absolute
guest.
agility of this
Well-spoken.
kid.
I know. Look at that, his sunset flip, almost.
Look at that. Crusher can do that in his prime. And he was a
A little
5'10"
outside interference.
and he was a 5'10" world champ.
Oh, and then he hightails it.
Look at the crawl.
That little punk got lucky.
So, question: how come? So, what's that kid's name, by the way?
His name's Billy.
Billy?
So, how come Billy?
It's not going to be very much longer, though, because his parents are going to have to make another one. I reviewed this footage again. I tried to forget about this. About it. And you had to go and show it.
I'm just curious. How come Billy beat Malibu, but CJ couldn't?
Well,
It's just asking the questions here that the people.
it sounds like
wanna know.
Malibu needs Crusher's help here with this, evidently. You know, you're saying that Malibu's saying, I might be too old and you have a point. I cannot believe I'm hearing that from my own United States friend here
Well,
with this
it's 'cause
Irish.
Darrell's not like most Americans, where he's not deluded and clueless.
And what's
All
with,
right.
by the way, what's with those shades all of a sudden?
These shades are what's called fashion, right? Obviously, I know back in your day, your fashion was wearing like top hats and monocles and walking around, strutting around in dungarees or something because you're a hillbilly. But
I would
me?
say that was maybe high fashion back in the 60s, maybe 70s, but 2025, you may want to take those back to the dollar store.
I'll tell you what,
Darrell's
right? You
pulling
can't
no
talk about
punches here. He's going
you
after
can't
all of
talk
us.
about my fashion, right? When I could play a game of chess on your shirt, all right? So you watch who you're chatting to here, Darrell Becker.
Even
whatever
at my
your name is.
spummiest, Malibu Bobby makes every look good.
You
Mala who?
Malibu Bobby, that's his character. You know, you made the mistake, Darrell. I got to warn you. Once you insult Canary Kid, you're going to hear it from one ear through the other. I should have warned you on that.
I can understand.
Birds are going to chirp.
That when Darrell's in front of greatness, just like anyone else, he can get flustered and he cannot think before he speaks, all right? So I can understand that he may have got his words mixed up and he mixed up bad fashion with absolute fashionista that is the Canary Kid, all right? And legends like John Lennon wore this kind of stuff, you know,
Look what happened to him.
real singers from the UK,
You know,
not from the dirty
it's
Americans.
hard to believe that Northern Ireland worshipped this kid. He's like their number one fan of him, and then here in America, he would be booed right out of the arena.
Well, as I've said, Americans are a bunch of clueless fat slobs, all right? That's what they are. They don't have a clue what they're doing. And you know what? I hate to be the guy to say it, but Americans are so clueless. They voted in Donald Trump. That's how dumb they are, all right? So I'm just saying it here. Americans don't have any idea what they're doing.
Before we get
We
into any
know
kind
what
of
we're
political
really
rabbit
doing.
hole, listen. Here's a question from Sports Video. I have noticed more and more that there is a mix between wrestling and MMA. And we were just talking about MMA, Ricky, before we went on air. So I am seeing more kids participating barefoot. I never gave it much thought. It just seemed like personal preference. But really, it's because they can't afford wrestling boots, and they're growing, and they're going to grow out of them if they bought them. Really, right, Darrell?
Yeah, I would totally agree. Kids grow like the weeds that you need to get out of your garden, man. You know, so the parents can't afford shoes after shoes after shoes after shoes after shoes.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And then here's one from Sports Talk 117 says, have any of you, for both of you, had to stop your match due to an injury?
I've been lucky enough to never have sustained an injury during a match. Knock on that wood. Most of the gentlemen and ladies I work with, they're very safe. They're great workers. They spend the time in the gym that they need to make sure that we are all safe. You know, that's a big part of it, is just making sure you get in the gym, get those reps in, so you can protect yourself and your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Now, with that said, I mean, I've seen injuries happen in the ring. Luckily, I have not been a part of them.
Yeah, no. Me personally, I've been hurt in the ring, never any sort of proper injuries. I've the worst one I ever had. We watched it on this show, and it was in a match with John, and I took a back bump from the middle rope. He just knocked me off the middle, and I landed awkward on my shoulder, and I just lost all control of my shoulder for the rest of the match and panicked, thought it was dislocated. But we finished the match. It was coming to the end anyway, and I was fine the next day. But I've never had a major injury and had to stop a match or anything. I would not. I would say, touch wood and stuff. But, last time I said touch wood about injuries was the time just before I hurt my shoulder in that match. So,
Yeah, we watched that one
Emphasis.
right on this channel.
yeah, Keaton was interviewing me about injuries, and I said, "Oh, I've never had a bad injury. Touch wood." Next match, I hurt my shoulder, but
It was just an awkward, it was just a normal bump, but it just
awkward. Yeah, I just landed
those
a little bit
awkward
more on
things.
one shoulder, and yeah, it was painful.
Yep.
But
Yeah, good questions though. Everybody's chiming in pretty good with questions. Yeah. So if you have any more, make sure you bring them in for us while we have Darrell here. And in fact, there's one coming in right now here from Gizmo. Let's see what he has to say. I'm just waiting for it to queue in. There we go. Gizmo's a regular. Ricky, I will be the first to admit I made fun of your set in the past, but today is different. I like the black shirt and background with the colored glasses. It looks like you are from the Matrix.
well,
The
you know what?
Matrix.
That's exactly it. This guy gets it. Gizmo's a genius. The Canary Kid. And you know what? I get it. I get what you're coming from. These glasses on the average person, they look hideous. But they're on an absolute supermodel, godlike man in the Canary Kid. Look at me. They're
A good
going to
open.
look amazing as
They
expected.
are going to look amazing because when I come out there and I do that open hand slap right across your face, you'll find those on about the 15th row.
Haha,
All right.
you're
All
fine.
right. Hold on. Easy.
Anyway,
you two.
as I was saying, and it doesn't
Special
look like
guest referee right here.
it doesn't look like I'm from the Matrix, right? It looks like the people from the Matrix are from Belfast, Northern Ireland, the greatest place on planet Earth. And that's why Belfast is basically just the Matrix at this point. And just like the Matrix, Crusher, if you tried your little pussyfoot and slap on the Canary Kid, you'd call me Neo because I'd backflip out of that shit and slap those ugly prescription glasses straight off your face.
Canary's he's all fired up and talk. We'll see what happens in person, though. That'll be yet to be determined. So now I know Canary has a lot of Lucha Libre influence because their coach Nate Maddox has been there and done it. So he brings that training into the training. How about you guys, Darrell? Do you do any Lucha Libre influence and stuff with Primos?
Primos is heavily influenced in Lucha Libre. It's in the name. Primos Premier Pro Wrestling. We have a huge Lucha Libre following down here as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, because I wanted to say that. I wanted to ask you though, but I thought that's what I remembered finding out when I was first finding you guys. When I seen your stuff, I seen a lot of Lucha Libre stuff and special events even that were Lucha Libre events.
Yeah, we have a lot of Lucha inspired events. Taco Fest is one of them. We have every summer in Boulder, Colorado. Fantastic festival. Oh, I can't wait for it. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Now, if kids that happen to might be finding this and realize you guys are training in Colorado in the Denver suburbs there, what do they do if they want to get signed up or be a part of it?
Get in touch. Get a hold of me, and I can direct them to the right people. I know we are working on our website at the moment, so it might be a little difficult to kind of find some things. But you can try the website. It's primospremierprowrestling.com. I believe that's right. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah, get a hold of me, and I can definitely direct you in the right place, get you guys set up.
Yeah, and you have your Instagram right beneath you there. So that's one way they can get a hold of you, just your Instagram. And I couldn't get your Facebook to get in there because it's a big, long thing. It wouldn't fit.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I figured the Instagram, at least there, that they can get you a message. And
yep, you can either hit me up at DarrellB0713 or the.MalibuBobby on Instagram as well.
Sure, yeah. Because I mean, that's just it. Kids are. This is what I like about today. 40 years ago, we didn't have this avenue. Darrell, I've talked to you about this before. So for us, we had to make our own thing. We had to make it work ourselves. I couldn't go to a wrestling trainer and get any kind of training. They would tell us to get lost. They just didn't train kids in those days. So we had to make up our own thing and do our own deal. And for 2 years, learn it ourselves until finally I was able to catch the attention of Eddie Sharkey, and then I got smartened up. But for kids today, they're able to come into this now in both of your organizations and really learn it the right way from proper training and proper guidance. And that's, to me, that's a really good thing, for this day and age for kids that are interested.
I actually feel really blessed and thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this. It's a great way, I feel, for me to pay some dues for my wrestling career. It's a great way to give back as well.
Yeah. And it's the indie feds, everybody. I'm telling you, it's these indie feds that are opening the door to the youth to get involved. You're not seeing this mainstream in the big leagues or anything. It's a grassroots movement through the indie feds that are training, not just you guys. Look at San Antonio Style Wrestling with Sean Hernandez. He's doing it. Out there in Las Vegas with Future Stars, they're doing it as well. Europe's got several places that are doing it, England particularly. So, but it's all indie feds that are doing this. They're the ones that are opening the door. And it's a good thing. If you think about it, you get kids starting out at a nice early age and get them the fundamentals down, they're going to really be able to step into the adult training and know what they're doing.
Yeah, they'll really excel once they get to an age and point to where they can excel and show their talent. They're just going to take off.
Yeah,
I'm really excited
totally
for
agree.
these kids.
Ricky, what do you think?
100%. And for me, I feel like having these training opportunities for kids, it's especially here, where I'm from, because it's very common for young kids to grow up, and by the time they're 12 or 13, they're vaping and drinking, and they're doing the stuff they probably shouldn't do. But that kind of gives them opportunity, keeps them off the streets, gives them something to do, and it lets them follow their dreams. Because I know when I was younger, if I had that opportunity to at the age of 8 to start training wrestling, I would have jumped at the opportunity. Stuff like that, it's giving kids a chance, and it's going to be stuff like that by the time these kids are 25, they have 17 years experience or something, and it's insane. That's just perfect. That's what we need in wrestling.
And wrestling today, as you both know, is much more. It's not old school. It's not kayfabe old school style where we're trying to make it seem like it's real. So it's going to be rough around the edges. It's going to be even a little sloppy. Today, it's crisp. It's technique. Everything is very, I don't want to say choreographed, but it's just crisp, right? And the technique is everything. And that wasn't the case in old school. There were guys that were just average, they couldn't do it was traditional old school. It was like headlocks, body slams, suplexes, right? Just your basic rough and tumble moves. Where now look at it today, how it is.
Well, I feel with MMA being more mainstream now and kind of the forefront, we kind of have to, in a way, compete, and still make our craft and our profession believable in the eyes of the fan. It's so that we have to work on the technique. We have to crispen things up. We have to make things look smooth. We can't give them any reason to stray away. Yeah, it's fake, but that's really fake. We don't want to give them that reason.
And really, like we were talking with Marty Jones, Ricky, remember this conversation? We talked about receipts. You don't have that. You don't have receipts anymore because you don't have people screwing up like that so much anymore.
Well, I still find some people will give receipts. I'm not a believer in big receipts because that can come dangerous. I get maybe laying in a strike a wee bit harder, maybe having a 3 strikes and you're out kind of rule. If you're just stiffing the crap out of someone, by a certain point you have to expect them to kind of lay one back. I remember Ben Nelson, he's my protege. We had a protege program one time because we took so many people in at once, and it was kind of hard for Nate to keep up. So he's we'll give the experienced guys a a protege, and I got Ben, who's about my age, and it was me and him were working a training match, and he was in about 3 months in the wrestling, and I was trying to talk him through it, and he always laughs about it because I say to him, "Hit me," and he wasn't doing it, and then I say, "Hit me," and he wasn't doing it. So then I push him and go, "Come on, then hit me," and he just stares at me like this for a good 10 seconds, and I'm like, well, shit. So I just jump in the corner, choke, pull the hands over, bang, chop, hold him over again, chop, hit him about 3 chops. And to this day, he says that was an awakening moment for him in wrestling. Of he needs to be on the ball. He can't, be off guard because he needs to be 100%. And sometimes I'll catch Ben being like, "Oh, I need to lay it into this guy." And I'm like, I think I've led by example in the wrong way sometimes, but
Well, back in the day, you would stiff somebody to let them know, lighten up, or if they're working too stiff with you, you'll stiff them back. They get the hint. Either they get the hint or you do it again, right? But the point is, they usually get the hint after one, right?
mhm.
And then it's a way. It was a way in the kayfabe days to where the fans would know either way, and it's just you're kind of communicating in a way to let them know, lighten it up or whatever. You're going too stiff or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, because some guys would just be they're trying to, and the way that would happen is they would be trying. They're so pumped up, they're trying to make it look so good, and they're just overdoing it. They're overdoing the clothesline. They're just, and they don't need to, right?
Random question asked is so off topic. When you had Marty Jones on,
Mm-hmm.
did he talk about Andre? Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a lot about
Yep,
Andre.
I can
Yeah.
tell. Yep, 100%. Notice I knew that. See, Marty Jones, by the way, Darrell, old British wrestler. He was
Trained by
trained-
Billy Robinson.
yeah, he trained by Billy Robinson and really good friend of William Regal and stuff. And
Trained Regal, didn't he?
no, Keaton says that. That's
what Keaton
that's
says.
completely wrong. As far as I'm aware, but I'm pretty sure Regal might have been Billy Robinson too. But
Yeah.
yeah, Marty Jones. And I can tell you now, I love Marty so much, but I can always tell his conversations. And I don't know if he would have done it with you, but I know he did it. He does it with everyone from Northern Ireland. He talks about Finlay. He'll talk about his relationship with Finlay. He'll be like, "Oh, we didn't like each other, but we got out there and it was a fight." He talks like that exactly. I'm pretty good at Marty Jones. And then it was when see if you get him started on Andre. Did he ever tell the story about him in Japan with Andre?
Yeah, something about pushing over a car and everything because Andre's
Yep,
drunk.
yep,
and-
that exact story.
So Andre's trying to get up and he pushed over a Volkswagen on its side
Yeah,
trying to get
and
up.
He told me a story one time, and it was some of the stories. I'm like, come on, Marty. But he'll be like, yeah, Andre Giant, we went to Japan and we'd go out drinking every day. And I was a heavy drinker, but I couldn't keep up with Andre. It
Oh,
was
nobody
every
could keep
night.
up with Andre.
He
No.
said, came to a point where I said, Andre, I'm not going to drink with you anymore. I'm just going to call it a day. And Andre said, no. Here's what we're doing. And apparently, for like the next couple of months, Andre used to pay for everything on behalf of Marty Jones.
Yeah, he told that whole story. Yep.
See how I know the Marty Jones stories? I know what he's going to say.
It was
I love
hard
Marty.
with
He's
Marty
so
because he
funny.
had so much to say and we had to just let him talk. And there were so many questions coming in for him and we
Oh,
had to
no.
let him talk,
No, Marty Jones answers his own questions. it's Marty. It's when I went over to work for Marty Jones and his promotion in England. I went over and he's so old school about wrestling. Like I could imagine this is how old school wrestling worked in England because he just came up to us and goes, "Look at all them lads over there." I said, "Yeah," and he goes, "Pick which one you want to work." And I'm like, "I don't even know them." And he's just pick. And I was like, "Do you just want to do it for me?" He goes, "Right, you have him. And I go, "What's his name?" And he goes, "Go ask him." I'm like, all right, Marty.
And
so I go over and I'm talking to these guys, and I'm just having to find out everything about them before I work them.
And you
And
know
then
what was
it's-
cool about his
Oh,
training,
it's
Ricky?
so funny.
He trains just like Eddie Sharkey. The mat pads down like that, no ring, just you're on pads. That's
Old
how
school.
Eddie trained. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great, Marty. Like really good guy.
So here's a question for Darrell. Let's see what they're saying here. Sky Sports Video News. Darrell, what are your plans in the future for your program? Do you have any all-star students headed for bigger and better things in their future, or anybody that maybe already came through that's on their way, like CJ? Or
Well, I would say CJ is definitely on his way in the adult division, for sure. This new crop of kids, it's too early to tell. As far as plans, just like before, I really want to get one of these kids that's ready. I'd really like to do like that old school Kenny Omega with a little Japanese girl spot, something that kind of gets them over, and kind of, it's gonna be so much fun. I would love to do that. Kind of like pick on the kid, have him come in, like, oh, you parents really want me to do this? You really letting him do this? And then he kind of gets over on me, makes a fool of me, and then
That'd be awesome.
I can't wait for that day. It's gonna be so awesome when one of the kids can do that.
That's amazing. I really like that.
Yeah.
There you go, Crush. That's some homework for you. Search up Kenny Omega versus Japanese girl match. It's the funniest thing I've
Was
ever
Kenny
watched.
Omega the one that wrestles with like those crash dummies and makes them look like they're doing all those
He
moves?
he also, I'm pretty sure, might have had that match with Yoshiko or something you call the dummy.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a champion for a long time and went around and wrestled all kinds of people, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. He went to France recently. Like, people pay Crusher. He went to France. People pay for a crash dummy.
I know. It's like they're not real, but he makes it look like they're in the match.
It's
crazy.
just the other person wrestling a crash dummy, and people
Yeah.
go crazy for it. It's so
I know,
dumb.
but
What a sport.
it actually looks good. Like, it looks kind of like that it's real almost. Like they're actually,
See,
but they're not.
the one that Kota Ibushi did with it was the funniest thing I've ever watched. You ever see the Canadian Destroyer Crusher?
No.
So it's where you basically get them in like a pile driver position, like head between the legs, and you front flip and bring them over into a sit out pile driver.
Okay.
Kota Ibushi got the dummy in the position so it had him for the destroyer, and he just kept backflipping, and he took about 40 destroyers as circles around the ring. It's the best thing I've ever watched. It's magical, and he's selling each one like he's dead at one point. Like he's just backflipping with no effort.
Yeah,
It's the best thing I've ever watched.
It's like that stuff we've
Oh, it's
seen
amazing.
with that springboard stuff they were doing in 1972 that was in France. And they're doing hurricanes and stuff. And it's like 72 in France. Like, wow, they were like
Yep.
ahead.
Oh
But-
yeah, France. France is a very underrated wrestling scene. I know a couple people from France. Really nice people. Really talented as well.
But yeah, no, it's been
Yeah.
it's been a great discussion and stuff, and it's kind of cool to see where you're at now. Is there any other? Or is this kind of you guys can people come in at any time, or do they have to kind of wait for like a new session to start for new people to come into the training?
No, if somebody wants to come and join, we'll get you rolling right on day one. I mean, we're not going to have you like doing flips and stuff like that, but we'll definitely get you oriented and kind of back up and make sure everybody's on the same page.
And you still give them,
make sure everybody's on the same page. Like, yeah, this
Sure.
person may be here, this person may be here, but we want everybody, leveled on the same page.
and if I remember correctly, you also let them have some free time where it was beat up Malibu Bobby for a while. Do you still let them?
Yeah, pretty much what happens is I show them what to do, and then they use it on me at the end of class.
Yeah.
And there goes your bump card. Just
Pretty much.
but bunch of like 11-year-olds just taking you out. And yes, for anyone looking to join Primos Premier, just heads up on your first session. It's an initiation event where Malibu Bobby gives you a razor's edge, as we saw in the video. It's initiation for everyone. No matter who it is, you're getting the razor's edge.
So look at Canary Kid dictating how it's going to go. You know what Canary Kid's going to get is the drop kick if I ever get over there, because it's funny. I got to tell you, Malibu, my move was a drop kick back in the day. I did it as good as you could do it back then. And this guy over here, once he heard that, he started working on this, and he is literally trying to be a mini crusher. He's trying to do the drop kick just like I did. I watched his last match. I'm like, damn, he watched my drop kick because now he's trying to do it like I did it. I almost think that it should be royalties.
The most sincere form of flattery.
That's true. You got a point. I guess I should have to look at it differently, right?
He's paying a homage to you, Crusher. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a love letter to you and your career.
But I will say this, Canary, was looking good.
I know it was because I did it. And also, you say a love letter to Crusher and his career. What career? All right. Yes, he may have won 5 world titles, but so what? The champion makes the championship, And you know what? The only reason that championship was so good because of the other holders, right? Crusher brought its value down. All right. Maybe one day I should take that title. Maybe I should go over there. Maybe I should beat up the old man. Maybe take his title and walk away and add a bit of value to it. You're welcome. And show people what a champion should do with a championship. Because for those who don't know, the Canary Kid, fun fact, was the longest reigning NIPW junior heavyweight champion at 140 days straight. The only person to ever take the title outside of Europe when I took it to North America, to Canada.
And what am I
just
holding up?
saying.
What am I holding up?
Four.
Four
of your
title
old wrinkly
defenses
fingers.
in that long reign. Malibu knows this. I defended my title 4 times on one taping. You, in that long, big stretch that you just bragged about so boastfully, you only had 4 title defenses in that reign.
Well,
It doesn't sound like a fighting champion. That sounds like a ducking champion.
I gotta say,
are you a simpleton? I'm just saying, because the canary may be yellow, but he's a canary, not a duck. All right, and I don't duck nothing.
yellow's a fitting color.
I don't quack with a bill. I crack the bones. All right, and I bring in the bills. So the Canary Kid, being a duck and champion, is an absolute poppycock, is what that is. 140 days, 4 defenses. We're doing monthly shows here. All right, so that's pretty damn good. I was the first ever champion because we went through a transitional period from NXG and became NIPW. I was the first ever man to hold it in NIPW. So. Just saying, I fought for the title of the first ever match for it. I made that title what it is.
You're talking about your championship. Remember, it's a championship, not a championship.
My God. Right. Sorry. Let me find some straw and say it how you say it. Let me just get some straw in my mouth and a straw hat. Championship. Shut your mouth. Right. I say it good with proper, beautiful dialect. How it should be said. A championship. Not a championship. Huh.
He's the kind of heel you love to hate, right, Malibu?
I don't know what this heel stuff is. This is just me being me. It's me being the person I am, and that is the greatest pro wrestler Northern Ireland's ever seen, and the reason that people tune in the NWF Fast Forward.
I will say this, though. You and your tag team partner, John McCann, next level. John, looking pretty good. I mean... Look what he's done all last year. I mean, he had a big match with OTT, and
John did amazing. But no offense to him, wouldn't have got there without yours truly. I'm an inspiration to John. All right,
like we just switched to
I'm just saying. Address it how it is. We're not just next level that tag team here. We are the greatest tag team in Europe. Next level. We're unbelievable. We're unstoppable. Undefeated. 4-0 now. 4-0. About to make it 5. On February, when we take on this random team, Stars Aligned, a bunch of Hollywood actors. No.
Speaking of which, that's a good segue, Canary, before we let Darrell go here. And then ask both of you guys, but what is next on the horizon? So what's the next event for Primos Premier? What's coming up?
So Primos Premier's next event is going to be February 16th, Feast or Famine, Marlon Bishop's Chopping Block 6, live at the Roxy, downtown Denver.
And how many people fit in that place? Like, what do you usually have for a crowd?
Oh, that's usually a pretty good crowd. There's probably like 100 or 200 people that can fit into that place.
Okay, sure. Is that like a theater setting kind of thing?
It is, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's what it's. I think of Roxy. That's what I'm thinking. I've never been, but I'm just saying it just sounds like it'd be a theater. And that's on February 16th. Did you say?
Yep. Valentine's Way weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting because we'll be talking to CJ Quinn just a couple days then before that show. And who's he going against on that one?
Not sure, but he's probably going to have a couple of fresh bruises to show you.
Yeah, he was said he's going to be tuning into the show. He wants to hear what you were going to have to say about him. So, I'm sure.
It's flattering that I just can't escape that boy's mind. He's that hurt still that I put him to sleep.
But that's what we do, Darrell. People like you and me, we teach young punks a lesson. Canary. Speaking of that, Canary, before you start chirping, and I know you're going to, but tell us what's happening in Northern Ireland. What's happening in NIPW? What's next?
Well, in NIPW, the people, as usual, are getting God's greatest gift, the Canary Kid, once again in a tag team match alongside my tag team partner, my number one fan, John McCann, and we're going against the Stars of Lions. You know, an outside tag team. This will be February 8th from the Lions Den. And you know what? I can't wait for it because we're going to prove to everyone that we're unbeatable. We're going to go 5-0. You never get that thing you like to do? Oh, 5 times? 5-0. Try that. Try undefeated. All right, we can't be beaten.
Just to pull the curtain up a little bit here, when they do these dojos, that's where they do their monthly shows, Darrell, they like sell out within hours. Like they get 60, they only holds about 60, but they always sell them out right away. I don't think you have one that hasn't sold out in a day, have you? In a long time.
Oh, are you asking me? Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, we recently, I think it's past like 3-4 shows now. It's got quicker and quicker. Like the first time it was like 2 days, then it went to a day, then it went to like 15 hours, and I think the last one it sold out. I think it went out. Yeah, it sold out within 7 hours. Like it's going quicker and quicker.
That's crazy.
And I want to rephrase your words though. You said that we sold out. No. I sold out the last show. People come to see me. The longest reigning junior heavyweight champion in
he's a
NWF
baby
history.
face over there. I just cannot believe he's a baby face.
What
It sounds like he's
you're
purchasing
talking
most of the tickets.
What's that? It's not he's purchasing most of the tickets. Yeah, he's got a side gig on the side, just buying up those tickets and probably scalping them as well.
I don't do no scalping. The only scalping I'll do is when I slice your head open when I smash it against that canvas. All right, that's the only scalping that'll happen. And I don't do any side gigs. The only side gig I have apart from being full-time ass kicker is part-time absolute legend of the sport.
Okay, full-time ass kicker. He won't get in the ring with me. Would you get in the ring with Malibu Bobby? Is he young enough for you?
Well, Malibu Bobby, I'm pretty sure can wake up in the morning without the support of a nurse. So yeah, Malibu Bobby can have the honors of wrestling the Canary Kid one day. I'd love to give the kid a chance to give himself something to look back on.
Well, the thing is, it's only going to be a matter of time before the greatest action figure to ever live is going to add a little birdie to his cage at home.
Action figure? What sort of action figure? What are you, a toy? I'll break you, like Sid from Toy Story.
Oh, I'm not Saturday morning with watching cartoons with your cereal. I'm not a bowl of tricks, Canary Kid.
I don't know what tricks you're talking about, but I got plenty of tricks up my sleeve. All right. The only cereal that we have in Ireland is Lucky Charms, a real cereal, and that's what real cereal is. We don't do no tricks. We don't do no.
And since you brought up action figures, I have to say the only one of us here that has an action figure is Crusher Crossen, and I got to say it's a good one. Since you brought it up,
who's sad enough to sit for months painting acrylic at his old age is Crusher.
You know what? I would pay Darrell. I would pay you to take care of this kid for me, since he won't get in the ring with me. Maybe he'll get in the ring with you.
Yeah, you would have to pay someone else, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it would be. Yeah, I would love the opportunity to face. What was it again? Tropicana Stevie or something?
Whatever it was. Malibu Bobby.
Be great.
Short memory
for you.
So
too many hits to the head the kid has had in his 3 short years.
He's had a couple bumps. In fact, it looked like you took a rough one in that last match in Next Level. I seen the bump you took there.
Oh yeah, in all seriousness, that was absolutely hilarious.
That looked brutal.
Yep.
Every now and then everybody, it just happens, and you remember it.
But it's good that it's me. I've been dropped and folded like a mousetrap so many times in my career. But I'm going to say this, and then by the time I'm 20, I'm going to be like paralyzed. But, touch wood, so far, I've been fine. But I think it's because, again, having the body mass of the kind of kids you see in like some sort of feeding the world advertisement, I am perfectly fine landing on my neck because I always end up, it ends up feeling nicer than an actual bump. So at this point, anyone who works with me, please drop me on my head. No, don't. But it works out better, to be honest.
You know, it's not the neck. When you land up high like that, it's the back of your head. Is what I've always remembered when I landed like that. If I took a bad bump, you'd see the stars and yeah.
No, I'm usually perfectly fine. I just cough up blood for a bit afterwards and see a few colors. But no, I'm mostly fine. Yeah. No, I don't feel anything really. It feels fine. I'm thick-skulled.
Well, so Darrell, like I said, now that I have the Canary Kid as my co-host, we kind of entertain it up a little bit. We
Main
go in and
host.
out of character, as you see, and we just had to have fun with the show a bit. And I hope you were okay with that. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
to tell
this
you
was
that's
an
our
absolute blast, man. I loved it.
yeah. I should have forewarned you we'd be getting that into character.
Apologies for my co-host. He likes to talk, and obviously as the main host, I have to sometimes put him aside and say, "Here, listen, here, kids. You want me bringing in the future? You're gonna have to dial it down a little bit." But
he always
sometimes
starts
it
out
gets
the
out of
show,
hand.
Darrell, as I am your main host. He is the co-host. I'm the main host, but he likes to call himself the main host for some reason. I don't know why, but
I just saying, people come to watch for the Canary Kid. No one comes to watch for Schmucker Crossing. They want to see me.
and this whole Schmucker Crossing thing, I don't know how he's gotten on this kick.
You're the ultimate schmuck. Here, Darrell, does this sound impressive? 12 push-ups.
Yeah.
Oh.
He listen here, buddy boy. I'm gonna be 55 years old in a few days. Let's see you when you get my age
not.
do 2 push-ups or 3 or 4.
Let's add about 20 years on that, buddy, and then we'll be about right.
Yeah, he challenged me to push-ups last week, so I had to prove him wrong.
And he did 12.
And I get, we're not spring chickens anymore, but I can still do them.
You say we're. No, you're not a spring chicken anymore. You are a slow decaying old rooster that's feathers to fill out. That's what you are.
This guy's mouth is like a duck's rear end in water. It just keeps going.
Well, that's what a little bit of fame will do to somebody.
that's for sure.
Don't do
so it sounds
right?
like middle of February for you guys. And Ricky, when was your next show?
February 8th at the Canaries Den, Lions Den, whatever.
Lions Den, the Canaries Den, the Canary Show, the Canary this, the Canary that.
It is. And I'm the reason people, just like the only reason people tune in the Fast Forward, I'm the only reason people come to NIPW, because I am NIPW. And for those who don't know, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm actually the longest reigning junior heavyweight champion in NIPW history, just in case no one knew. 140 days. Only man to take it outside of Europe as well, in case I didn't mention that. So I'll bring it up again.
All right, well, guys, we're going to wrap it up here, wrap up the show. Darrell, if you want to hang with us, we're just going to jump to other screens so we can show what's coming up, and then we'll be signing off. But if you want to hang with us, we'll talk to you when we're done.
Cool.
So let's just go to the other screen. I just want to go over what is coming up on the future podcasts and everything that we got coming down the line here. So, whoops, we don't need this one. That's Crusher Cross and Dropkicking Canary Kid. Sorry about that. Let's see. No, we need to do Rewind. That's coming up with me and Dave this Thursday. Studio taping 27, the early days. I personally don't like watching this stuff because we didn't know what we were doing. But
you didn't know what you were doing.
We didn't know what we were doing.
I'm sure Dave was perfectly fine. He is a very capable wrestler, and he is the example of what NWF really is.
But for the fans, I know our NWF viewers, they love this stuff. They like seeing the progression. So we'll be hitting show 27 for everybody. And then after that, this coming Sunday, actually, I should have put this one up first. This coming Sunday, I'll be on with Kayfabe with Keaton. And I don't know if you're familiar, but Filthy Phil Powers.
You asking
British
me?
Wrestling legend, yeah.
Yeah, I know Philly's lovely.
Really nice so got him coming on. Going to be a fantastic interview with Keaton.
Yep.
Should be good.
Great guy, Phil.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that one. Kind of learn all about this.
He's wrestled some great names.
Our next Forward show, we're going to visit San Antonio Style Wrestling. Sean Hernandez, one of his trainees here, CC Carter. I've heard lots of good things about this young man. And Officer Smalls talks highly of him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's all about, and he's real excited to come on with us, and this should be fantastic. I imagine Hernandez probably join in too. It's there's a good chance we'll see him as well, so we'll see. Never know with Hernandez. He's a busy guy, but should be fantastic, Ricky. I think this one.
Yeah, and I can almost guarantee, by the way, guys, that we will see Sean Hernandez, because for those who don't know, I was actually a big inspiration for Sean Hernandez coming into the wrestling.
Oh boy! And you better be able to back up what you're saying.
He'll probably want to come in and see me because I'm his hero.
The Canary Kid against Sean Hernandez would be a destruction if I'd ever seen it.
It would be a big match for the guy, and I think he could learn a lot from it.
Canary Kid, ladies and gentlemen. So, and we have I hinted at it on Rewind. There's some big news coming up with Canary. I don't know if we talked about it, but this is the 40th anniversary of the NWF Championship belt, that blue iconic belt. As a matter of fact, this beautiful blue iconic belt, 40th anniversary. We got some things in the works here. I can't really talk about it yet, but stay tuned for that. So there's going to be some stuff coming up with that I think the fans will be quite interested to hear about.
I say a lot of things about Crusher Crossen and him being a schmuck and how he almost ruined that championship. But one thing I'll give him, that's one pretty nice championship. I envy it a little bit. I wish I had a championship like that myself. Can't lie.
Well, look at there. There's a first for everything. Canary, appreciate the kind words, but remember this. I'm still going to teach you a lesson one of these days.
Yep, and that lesson is what exactly? How to wake up with bed sores, how to gain the ability to have nurses wipe your ass. What exactly are you talking about here?
Yes, the Canary Kid, ladies and gentlemen. So Canary was a great show. I'm looking forward then. So what we got next? Our next forward then, CC Carter. The one after that would be with CJ Quinn. So there's good shows coming up here, and then we also have Officer Smalls coming back on with us again in March as well.
Yep, and I'm really excited for Smalls to come on because then we will actually have some sort of legal authority here to make sure you don't get up to your funny business. All right, and and I'm sure Officer Smalls won't have any issue locking you up and sending you downtown. No, I don't think he'll have any issue.
He is a heel. We'll see, but he's only 15, so it's like I get in trouble if I hurt you minors.
He's not a heel. What he is an officer of the law, and you must respect the law. Respect the uniform, all right, buddy?
I'll tell you something. I will say this: those guys, Sean Hernandez, they've got a good program going on there. What I want to get, Ricky, I want to get some guys from Pure Pro again, Michigan, because they really are doing well. But Joe Bird is so busy, so it's just hard for me to get through to them guys to get anybody. But I'm still working on it. So.
Well, yeah, my good friend Tanks from there. Am I right?
Yeah, Tank, who had match of the year with the NWA with that EC3 championship match that we watched.
Yeah, and yep, Tanks, great talent. Fun fact about Tank, I was actually his inspiration for coming into wrestling.
Oh boy.
He tells me to this day that I was debating starting wrestling, but then he saw what I did and really inspired him. So you're welcome, Tank.
Tank would crush you. He would crush you.
Cause here, I don't think he would. There's a lot of things, precision beats power,
Nathan hasn't taught you everything. And just remember this. Your day is coming, Canary Kid. Your day is coming. Let's just say that.
What do you mean my day is coming? Every day's my day.
There's a little hint for NWF fans out there. All right, so we'll leave it at that, and let's sign off here because we got to get going, and we've almost went 2 hours. So we'll see you guys next. I'll see you guys Sunday with Keaton, and then I'll be back on Thursday with Dave, and we'll be back for another NWF Forward in 2 weeks.
So you're all welcome. I've been your main host, the Canary Kid. This is my co-host, Schmucker Crossen. We're signing off. See you later.
We'll see you next time around.